Hey, everybody, it's Jade. Thanks so much for swinging on through. I very much appreciate it. Whether you're watching now, later, whenever, hopefully not never. Going to be doing an astrology prediction for the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, Western Conference NBA Finals. NBA Western Conference Finals, game number 5, and OKC is up 3-1. So this is the Timberwolves' last time to howl here. If they don't, they're going back home, going back to the den. So I'm going to go over my previous prediction, and then I'm going to pull up the game chart for tonight. I'm going to go through it and then make my prediction and, see what happens. And I've been on a bit of a slump here the last couple, especially. And it's funny, too, something I noticed because I've been doing the NBA. I've been doing every single Timberwolves game since the finals started. So I've actually mirrored the Timberwolves with the record, my prediction record in each series. 4-1, 4-1, and then this series with OKC 1-3. But so that's just kind of weird. I just noticed that today earlier. I was like, that's kind of funky and strange. I am a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, if you didn't know that, but when I do the astrology reading, I have to, can't play favorites here. So can't do that because that'll get you into trouble. It's gotten me into trouble in the past, but always learning, moving forward. And then I did pull the Lynx versus, gosh, who were they playing? Seattle Storm were visiting the Minnesota Lynx. So I pulled that chart up last night. I didn't do any live stream or I didn't do any official prediction, but I did pull that chart up last night. And I pulled the Indiana Pacers hosting the New York Knicks. And I didn't get so far as to getting points for each game, but I did have each home team winning. Each home team did win. I might pull those charts up. I mean, they're right here, so I might share them. And if you don't post it or say it anywhere, I mean, you just kind of got to take me for my word. But hey, whatever. So take it or leave it, right? So anyway, the Lynx are currently undefeated, so that's amazing. They beat Seattle. I think it was pretty close. It was by, gosh, where is that? Again, so many tabs. I think it was by 5 points, something like that, 4 or 5. And then the Pacers did end up beating the Knicks last night to go up 3-1 in their series. So, we shall see what'll happen tonight. Hi, Ryan. Always good to see you. Well, this is Drew or Die tonight. Yeah, definitely for the Wolves. Pretty much. Yep, exactly. Please do not turn the ball over 21 times. Question: should I go old school, wear my KG jersey, or embrace the future and Ant? I mean, I would go with the KG jersey myself, but I mean, either way. I think either way. But man, I don't know. I just Kevin Garnett, as it stands right now, greatest Timberwolf of all time. But maybe Anthony Edwards, give him some extra energy. Ryan, I don't know. Are you feeling like you could send some extra energy to Anthony Edwards via his jersey? Then I'd say wear that one. But yeah, I agree. And just as a Timberwolves fan, before I pull up the chart, let me pull up the previous prediction here. So I did have the Wolves winning the last game. I had them winning by 6, and final score OKC 128, Timberwolves 126. Man, it got really weird at the end with a lot of fouling, but it still was kind of alive even at the very, very end there. And for the Wolves anyway, and just couldn't get it done. Get the freaking rebound, if I can just go off as a Wolves fan for a second before I share the chart and, take my Timberwolves fandom hat off. But get the freaking rebound, okay? Play defense. Here's the recipe to success, okay, in basketball, in my humble opinion. Play defense, get the rebound, and make your free throws. Those 3 things, okay? If you do those 3 things, you shall win, okay? Timberwolves, stupid turnovers, and OKC is clearly a good team. OKC just kept making baskets. They just kept making them. And I don't even think, a lot of people are very quick to blame the referees, a lot of Timberwolves fans maybe being upset or whatever. None of that. I didn't think there was really any of that going on too much the last game. And I'm not one to ever really blame refs anyway, because they're going to get stuff wrong. I mean, they're just not going to get every call. They're not. So yeah, and been pretty disappointed with Julius Randle. You know, he was doing so well there, and just can't really get anything going. You know, driving to the hoop, trying to like power in there, which he'd been good at. But I mean, Oklahoma City Thunder, not letting that happen. SGA, very, very good, makes it look pretty easy. And I don't know for the Timberwolves at this point. I have not been a big Rudy Gobert fan since the Timberwolves got him. I don't see a lot there, okay? How he won Defensive Player of the Year, whenever the hell that was, beyond me. Get a rebound. You're incapable of doing that, Rudy Gobert. Come on, dude. Come on. Incapable of making a free throw the majority of the time. Can't even get a freaking rebound, okay? And you can't set... When people pass you the ball, you cannot catch it. You cannot make simple little bunnies. What is going on? You're like the second tallest person out there. You're playing professional basketball here, man. No. No. He's more of a hindrance to the Timberwolves than anything at this point, which is unfortunate. He's had like one good game out of the whole entire finals, out of all three series. One game. What was that versus? I can't remember. Was it versus the Lakers, or was it versus OKC? I don't even remember. Or Golden State Warriors. Whatever. But it's like, dude, get out of here. All right. DiVincenzo was good. Nazarene was pretty good. Okay. Everybody, Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, and it's just like, yeah, but the Thunder were the better team. They were the better team. They had an answer every time, and they were making their baskets. They were making their free throws, okay? But Rudy Gobert, dude, get up. Like, at this point, okay, Chris Finch. Got a little crush on Chris Finch, okay? One of my fake boyfriends. Okay, Chris Finch. Let's take Julius Randle off the bench, and let's put Rudy Gobert there, okay? Because Rudy Gobert, again, he's like a malefic planet. He's like Mars or Saturn right now for the Timberwolves. Okay, not doing anything. So anyway, it's just like, I've had enough. The rest were annoying, but the loss isn't on them, like you said. They beat themselves. They did. Yeah, they really honestly did, you know. And they got outplayed. The better team won. The Thunder won. And Chet Holmgren was making everything, making it look easy. And another thing that bothers me for the Timberwolves is do not switch, avoid at all costs the switch so that Rudy Gobert is then guarding SGA at the top of the key. Knock that off right there. That needs to stop. That happens way too much. Way too much. But for the Timberwolves, for Rudy Gobert, really, the moon tonight, at the start of this game, or she is right now currently in the sign of Cancer. The moon rules the sign of Cancer. So she is at her happiest in the sign that she rules. Rudy Gobert is a Cancer. He has a sun. He was born during Cancer season. His sun sign, who he is at his core, is Cancer elements. Okay? So the moon being near Rudy Gobert's sun sign, will that help Rudy tonight? Potentially. Okay? Potentially. The moon, can you, Miss Moon, can you help Rudy tonight? Because the moon being in Cancer, and Rudy Gobert's sun sign, that's what I know. I haven't looked at his whole chart. Who he is at his core, that's your sun sign, what's what it represents, is in the sign of Cancer. So the moon, come on, try to help support, okay? If you can. Ranty Packers fan, hey man, how's it going? Good to see you. How's it going? Thanks for stopping through. Doing a little NBA chatter for tonight. But yeah, good to see you. And no pack, no. But hi to you. Go Vikings. But yeah, so basically, that's what's going on, at least in my head as a Timberwolves fan. I mean, I so badly would love them to win tonight, obviously, and to keep the series going. I'm going to pull up the chart and talk through it. I've taken so many notes, though. And the last game, I did have the Timberwolves winning. And I said I would have been shocked if the Wolves would have lost that last game. And I'm still a little bit shocked, but not as much as I was, because I wasn't seeing it in the astrology chart the last time. So I just looked at my time that I've been streaming, and it said 11:11. So that is cool. Reviving everybody. Let's see. Is this the chart for tonight? This is the chart for tonight. Okay, I don't want that. I want the chart for... That's Indianapolis from last night. Where's the Timberwolves chart from whatever day that was? What day is it today? Wednesday? From Monday night. Yeah, it was Monday. I can't believe, what? It's Wednesday already? What? Okay. Oh, you moved to Wisconsin? Oh, right on. Wow. That's good that you're doing well. You ditched Colorado, huh? Moving to Wisconsin to literally be near your team? But I bet you're happy about that, so you can watch all the games and stuff locally. Cheer for your favorite NFL team locally. Okay, yeah, this is the chart for Monday night. Okay, and that's crazy. Hey Texas, how you doing? Pizza Ranch Boy predicts that OKC has a 97 chance of winning the series. You mean tonight? Ending it tonight, or just in general? What do you mean, tonight? Pizza Ranch Boy. He God, he was in the news. I heard what they were talking to him about him. Did he show up or did he not? I don't know. He either showed up for some OTAs or didn't. I can't remember, for Atlanta. But Pizza Ranch Boy, please do not come back to Minnesota. He needs to move on from football. Okay, do something else. Be a motivational speaker. Okay. So Vikings done and dusted. They got their own issue now with the new quarterback. I mean, I got to do a Vikings stream or a Vikings video soon. Probably a stream soon, because stuff is happening now for the NFL. So, okay. But, oh, right on. So you're coming back home. I feel like you maybe told me that at some point in time. That's awesome. Welcome home. I bet you're glad to be back. Right on. Okay. So for Monday night's game, like I was saying, I had the Timberwolves winning. They lost by 2. I said I would have been shocked, because the main thing that I was looking at, which now I'm like, well, there's where you read that wrong. But it took me a minute to find out. But because there was a new moon happening on Monday night, a new moon, new beginnings, a fresh start in the sign of Gemini. Gemini rules the twins, the number 2. I was talking about the Timberwolves' good opportunity to tie the series, both teams then mirroring each other, having won 2 games if the Timberwolves would have won. And I thought that they would, because the sun and the moon were in the Timberwolves' first house of themselves. But, and I even said during the stream, and now thinking back on it, I remember like saying it aloud, but I mean, I still went with the Timberwolves winning and they didn't. But this is where I really messed up here, is that the new moon, all of that energy was happening after the game was going to be over. Yes, the sun and the moon were there supporting for the Timberwolves, but the phase of the moon, which is the co-ruler of every single chart, was the balsamic moon, which is an ending. It's a wrapping things up. It is not the new moon yet. That hadn't happened. So there's where I really went wrong. And then another thing for OKC from Monday night that really helped them, which I did touch on. Clean Music Lover was in the chat too, and he made mention of this on Monday night, was that the part of fortune, the circle with an X through it. It's an Arabic lot. It's like an extra thing that I tend to look at, that you can look at when you're doing predictions, when you're looking at stuff as like an answer. If you don't have a clear yes or no either way, and you're still looking, that's an extra place that you can look, or that I tend to look. I tend to leave it out unless I really can't figure out, like it's really just not clear to me. And for OKC, they had the part of fortune right on their ascendant, right on themselves, supporting them. So just a couple of things, that, because I was like, what did I miss? Damn, because I'm still a little surprised that they lost the Timberwolves on Monday, but I mean, they lost. It happened. It's done and dusted. But especially with the chart, because it just seemed, but those are like the biggest things that I missed, especially with the phase of the moon. The new moon hadn't happened yet. And again, I even said myself during the stream, like it was happening after the game was going to be over. So that energy hadn't, it was building, or it wasn't even building, excuse me, because it was still in the balsamic moon phase, which is ending, it's wrapping things up, tying loose ends before the new beginning, before the new fresh start with the new moon. So anywho, but yeah, so hey Angel, good to see you. Cheers from Oregon. Is it Oregon or Oregon? I still haven't gotten that yet. Cheers. What are you thinking about the game tonight? So I'm gonna pull up the chart for tonight, and people, I have been looking at this chart for OKC, Minnesota, game 5, back in OKC. I have been looking at this quite a bit here and there throughout the day-to-day. I pulled it up last night when I was watching, I was listening to the links on the radio, and then I was watching Knicks Pacers. Because like I said, I did pull up those charts too, because man, after Monday night too, when I was like so confident and I couldn't like find out what I read in the chart wrong, I was just like, man, I need to pull up some other charts here and like get back on track. So yeah, anyway, I pulled up links and Seattle, Knicks Pacers, like I said at the beginning. Anywho, so for tonight, I have been looking at this quite a bit. And it's one of those situations too, where it's like, again, like the more that I look at it, it's probably just blah, Okay. Restream, why do you gotta hide me away like that? Trying to share the screen here. And I have it just in the middle. I always take it away. What's that about? Anyway, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. And I'm gonna take a sip of my water quick. I took a sip earlier, and I don't know if maybe this came out of the dishwasher, but I feel like this mug has giving the water a weird taste. I'm going to try it one more time. I don't know. Maybe it's a mug, or else the filter in my pitcher, I think, is almost needing to be changed. There's like a weird aftertaste, and it's just water. And yeah, maybe it's a dishwasher. I don't know. Does anybody in the chat know? Can I just put, like, instead of putting dishwasher detergent in a dishwasher, can I just put white vinegar in the spot where you would put that in there? Because I don't know. That's a little weird. Maybe it's the water filter. Maybe, yeah, I should try changing the filter in my water pitcher and then take a sip out of that mug again and then see. Anyway, cheers, everybody. Okay, so let's see here. Game for tonight. Just taking that away. Okay, here's the chart, people. And this chart, it's like there's good. I was tallying it up. I even went back to the tallying. Like that's what I used to do. Like going through and just doing yes or no for both. I have it in my nerd notes. I have a notepad up on my computer. Let me see if I can get that over there so you guys can see it. Oh, you can't see it. Why won't? Oh, I suppose because the notepad is its own thing. Fine. Well, I have a notepad over here too, with all of the notes, all of the extra things. Venus sextile Jupiter, Moon square Venus, no. Moon square Saturn, no. All these yes and no's. Just went through it, and I just keep going through it. And it's like both of these teams have some good going on, and they have so many similarities here. And even the moon, okay, again, who's the co-ruler of the chart? She's at 4 degrees of Cancer. She rules the sign of Cancer, so she's happy, okay, as Miss Moon could be Mother Moon could be, because she's in the sign that she rules. Now, for OKC, they're ruled by Venus. Venus is at 22 degrees of Aries. The moon, the next thing that she's going to be doing is she's going to be in a square with Venus, i.e. OKC, and that's not good. That's a no. Like in a yes or no question, that's a no. But that's not going to happen during this game. But it will eventually, but not during the game. And for OKC, their fifth house of their game, how they play their game tonight, is also ruled by Venus. So both their game and themselves are ruled by Venus tonight. Not getting any support from the moon. Eventually will be squared, which is tension, not good, but not happening during this game. And then for OKC, their 10th house of their public reputation, how they show out tonight, is ruled by Jupiter at 27 degrees of Gemini. And then modern day ruler is Neptune at 1 degree of Aries. Now, for OKC, they also have Saturn in their 10th house of career. Again, public image, the highest point on your chart, the most public point. So with Saturn there, okay, that can bring longevity, but it can also bring delays and obstacles. It can slow things down. And then Venus is so far away from Neptune, the co-ruler of their 10th house of career. I think that the Timberwolves could keep this close tonight. I feel like this might be a little bit of difference from game 1 and game 2, because game 1 and game 2 in OKC, Minnesota didn't really stand a chance at all in either game. So them now going back, but after losing a game and a tough one to lose, I do think that they are going to keep it closer, that being the Wolves, than they did in games 1 and games 2. And I mean, that's not surprising either, because it's win or go home, right? Do or die, win or cry, okay? So I do think that Saturn being there could potentially help the Timberwolves with slowing OKC down and maybe kind of quieting their fans a little bit too. Because the fans, I mean, were rowdy and ruthless all games one and 2. So that's hard momentum. The Timberwolves use that to their advantage themselves in game number 3 at home. Your cat only drinks triple filtered water. Anything less is considered a form of disrespect. I like your cat style. Love cats. That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, I have a 0 water filter because that one also gets out fluoride. But I'm looking into like a better system, or like these little mineral water systems. But yeah, I like your cat style very much so. All right. So for OKC, they also, Venus, which rules them again, Venus is right near Chiron, the wounded healer. And that's a tough point on anyone's chart, because it's something in your life that you're constantly trying to correct, or for lack of a better word, heal from. And it's just always there. It's like a constant. So that could also be trouble for OKC. I hope that there's no injuries or anything like that. And, I've made mention of this before because Chiron has been in Aries for quite some time. Aries rules the head in astrology. So hopefully no injury having to do with the head, concussion, anything like that. But potentials to watch out for, and in particular, potentially OKC. But again, Chiron's been there for quite some time, and Venus has been there too. And Venus has been the ruler of both of these teams the entire series. It's just switched rulership, or Venus has switched, ruling OKC and then ruling the Timberwolves. And then another thing for OKC, which could be maybe a little bit of a struggle for them, is that they have Uranus, which is the planet of upheaval. It's surprises. It's not stable energy. They have Uranus right on their ascendant, right on themselves, that being OKC. So they might be a little bit again, I'm just kind of seeing it different than games 1 and 2. With the Timberwolves really keeping it a lot closer. And potentially that could shake up OKC, maybe surprise them a little bit. But for OKC, I think if they They just keep doing what they're doing. They play their game for the long haul, for longevity, that being Saturn coming in the mix here. I think that will really help them. And just with their age and their youth, just really tiring the Timberwolves out. Because the Timberwolves, they have a couple of older players, and I think, I don't know, OKC is like one of the youngest teams in the NBA. So yeah, I definitely think that's beneficial for OKC. And then also for OKC, they have the Sun and Mercury in their first house. So it's those planets are kind of, well, Mercury and the Sun are kind of a little bit of co-rulers for the Thunder themselves. And Mercury for the Thunder rules their arena, their fourth house of their home. And Mercury is how we communicate. So fans, I think, are going to be loud. I do think the Timberwolves do keep it closer, so an opportunity to quiet that crowd a little bit. But, I mean, they're going to be there. Obviously, they're going to be excited. Obviously, they're going to be pumped up. They want to see their team close it out tonight, so it's nothing surprising, but it's just reflected in the chart. And then being right next to the Sun for OKC rules their third house of short distance travels. That could be because the players, they're playing in their home arena. That's not a long trip for them to go to their game. And then also Mars, which rules the co-ruler of the Timberwolves tonight, is also in OKC's third house there. So, and then for OKC, if this game starts at like 7:40 or after, they also will then have, because I have the chart set for 7:35 Central Time. And, I should probably leave it at 7:40 because that's probably going to be closer to tip-off time because it's probably going to be 10 minutes or later. So if that does happen, OKC is also going to have Jupiter in their first house co-ruling them. Venus, that being OKC, is in good harmony with Jupiter. Jupiter is the greater benefic planet. It can bring blessings, good luck. And then Venus is the lesser benefic planet. But both of the two benefic planets being in harmony, one of those planets ruling OKC themselves, and then the second, Jupiter, being the co-ruler. I mean, that's pretty good. And then another positive for OKC is that themselves, Venus, is in an exact trine with the part of fortune being at 23 degrees of Sagittarius. And if the game starts a couple minutes, the part of fortune moves very quickly. So if this game is like 7:38, the part of fortune is in direct, perfect harmony with OKC. So that's pretty good for them. So a couple of struggles for OKC that I could see, and the Timberwolves keeping it closer. So now just moving over to the Timberwolves really quick, but I am going to leave the chart set for 7:40 Central Time. So fingers crossed that tip-off is around then because the timing is so crucial. But anyway, Universal Laws. I like that name. Fascinating info. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks so much for swinging through. Thanks for stopping by, saying hi in the comment. I appreciate that. I try to do the best that I can. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. For the Timberwolves, they're ruled by Mars and Pluto tonight because the sign that rules them is Scorpio. Funny enough, Chris Finch is a Scorpio, head coach of the Timberwolves, so just kind of funny when that happens. For the Timberwolves, they're ruled by Mars at 19 degrees of Leo, and they are also ruled by Pluto. Pluto is retrograde, so it's behaving a little funky. When planets are retrograde, they don't behave like they normally do. Usually it's a time for introspection, to go within. Pluto is the planet of destruction, of upheaval, but also transformation, like a death and rebirth. So that's retrograde, and it also is co-ruling the Timberwolves. I don't normally like that. Like to see that in a chart, or I see that as more of a not helpful when I see a retrograde planet ruling a team. And yeah, but I was going to say that wasn't the case the other night. I mean, there's certain instances, of course, where that works out, like for OKC on Monday night, for example. But for the Timberwolves, what I do like for them is that Pluto, which co-rules them, is in good support, in good harmony with Mercury. Mercury is at 6 degrees of Gemini. Pluto is at 3 degrees of Aquarius. Granted, Pluto is moving away. They're moving away from each other. There's still that support there because it's within about 3 degrees. And Mercury rules the Timberwolves' 10th house of their career and their reputation, how they show out tonight. And so that's more reason too why I do think the Timberwolves are going to keep it a lot closer and have a little bit more control. Like games 1 and 2 in OKC for the Timberwolves, again, they were not even close. It's like they had no control over it at all. I mean, OKC was completely in the driver's seat there with the foot on the gas. But I do see that as beneficial for the Timberwolves tonight. I have to quit saying sorry, I keep saying that. It's annoying me. And for the Timberwolves, what I don't like for them is the moon, the co-ruler again of every chart. She's in the sign of Cancer. So again, I do potentially expect Rudy Gobert to have a better game tonight because again, he's the sun in Cancer and the moon is in Cancer. So moon helping Rudy a little bit tonight. As a Timberwolves fan, I'm like, please. Let that happen. Anything, please. But for the Timberwolves as a whole, I do not like the fact that the moon at 4 degrees is in what's called an inconjunct or a quincunx with Pluto. That's when planets are 150 degrees apart. It can be like one or the other. And in a yes or no scenario, like, will this help the Wolves win? It's no. And for the Timberwolves, their 5th house of their game, how they play their game tonight, is ruled by Mars. Mars also rules the Timberwolves. Okay, so Mars at 19 degrees of Leo, that being the Timberwolves, is not doing anything with the moon. So I can't look at that. So not doing anything. And then what the moon is doing for the Timberwolves in a quincunx with Pluto, I don't like that. That's not very supportive. For the Timberwolves, again, their 5th house is ruled by Mars. Mars and Pluto are not doing anything with one another. I don't like that. And for the Timberwolves, Mercury, which rules the 10th house of the Timberwolves' career, Mercury is in good communication with both of the planets that rule the Timberwolves tonight. Again, Mercury is in a trine. That's the most positive communication that 2 planets can have with one another, with Pluto. And then Mercury eventually is working towards a sextile, which is also good. It's very easy communication. It's not as good as a trine, but it's still positive. Mercury will be in a sextile eventually with Mars. Not during this game, but building towards that. And so all the more reason why I do think that there is a potential for the Timberwolves to keep it a lot closer here. Like kind of how game 1 was, more reflective of that. And for the Timberwolves, another thing that I like for them is that Mars, again, the co-ruler of them, is in good harmony with the part of fortune. Again, the part of fortune is an Arabic lot that you can look to when you really are like, all right, which team is it? Who's it going to be here? That's an extra thing that you can look at. But what's funny is that both teams are supported by the part of fortune. Now, for the Timberwolves, they do have it in their 1st house of themselves. So that's good. But with OKC having Mercury, the Sun, Jupiter, and Uranus in their 1st house, I just think that they're going to wrap it up tonight. And, for the Timberwolves, it just, there is good things for the Timberwolves. There is. They're the ruler of their career. Again, their public image, kind of like their longevity, is in good harmony with both planets that rule them. So I don't think it's going to be like that would lead me to believe, maybe I should rephrase that. That would lead me to believe that the Timberwolves are not going to go down without a fight here. Like, they're not just going to roll over on their back and be like, okay, well, season's done, it's over. I don't see that taking place because Mercury is supporting Mars and Pluto. But I just see a little bit more extra positive for OKC, especially if this game does start at like 7:38 or later, with Jupiter then also moving into OKC's first house of themselves, and Jupiter being a co-ruler for OKC tonight. That would mean that they would have both benefics ruling them tonight, helping them. And the moon being in a quincunx with Pluto, I don't find that to be helpful for the Timberwolves. And then on the flip side, though, for OKC, I really don't like Uranus right on an ascendant or the first house of a team. I've seen that play out very, very poorly, but I've actually seen that play out more negatively in the NFL and NFL game charts that I've looked at. So much, I mean, maybe tonight might be different because, again, Uranus is erratic. You can't predict it. It's unstable energy. It's surprising. And it being in Taurus rules the neck. It being Uranus being right next to the fixed star Algol, which is associated with losing one's head. That equates to the fans really losing it because their team's going to move on too. Again, I've seen it play out, Uranus being right on the ascendant. I've seen that play out a lot more negatively for NFL charts. There's a first for everything, of course, in the NBA, but just something that I've noticed. So with all of that, and I've been going back and forth here. Because when one team has something good, the other one does too. And for OKC, another thing that I don't like for them tonight is the moon, which again is the co-ruler of the chart. And she also rules the people. The moon will eventually square Venus, which, again, Venus rules OKC, but it's not going to happen during this game. So that, plus the fact that Venus is in a direct trine with the part of fortune, something I overlooked in the last one. Try to learn from the mistakes. And with game 4 being played in the balsamic moon phase, where you're tying the bows up on things, getting the loose ends, getting all of the little things before the new moon. With OKC winning during that time, and now the new moon has since happened, new beginning, fresh start, kind of OKC riding that wave where it, series ends for the Timberwolves tonight. It's over. That's kind of how it was on Monday night when the sun and the moon in that phase of the moon were in the Timberwolves' first house of themselves. So just kind of that energy carrying over. I'm going to pick that OKC does win tonight. As a Timberwolves fan, of course it pains me to say that, but I have to stay objective. I really, really do when I do the astrology charts, because I've gotten my hand slapped by the universe in the past when I let my personal fandom feelings get in the way. But that's an extra challenge for me when I do charts of teams that I cheer for. So an extra challenge for me, but yeah, and again, if the game starts at 7:38 or after, with Jupiter going right into, again, OKC's first house there, helping them, so that, again, they not only have Venus ruling them, but then they have Jupiter. But On the flip side, Venus is right next to Chiron, the wounded healer, right there. So something could go awry. Uranus is right on the ascendant of OKC, right next to Algol, losing one's head, losing it. I just see it as the fans losing it because they're going to be so excited. But I do think that this game is going to be close. I do think, again, it's going to be a lot closer than games 1 and 2 in OKC. Obviously, Timberwolves don't want to go down, without a fight, I would hope. Right? But, I mean, they shouldn't. And it just seems like that is reflective here. So I am going to pick OKC to win tonight and end the series. And as far as the points go, I was looking at that earlier and I didn't make a solid choice. Because I didn't type anything in. So I still have to type it in. And I'm just trying to, because I mentioned this a couple streams ago, but I mention this every time. I'm still trying to look for the one thing that is going to give me the point spread. And it seemed to be not the degrees of the planets, but the seconds between them that was kind of giving the points away just more recently. So I was looking at Venus and for OKC and Jupiter. Venus is at 22 degrees of Aries. Jupiter is at 27 degrees of Gemini. 27 degrees and 20 seconds. Venus is at 22 degrees, 6 seconds. Between the seconds, there's a 16-point difference. Between the degrees, there's a 5-point hypothetical difference. The sun which is also co-ruling OKC tonight, is at 7 degrees and 55 seconds, kind of overcoming Pluto. Pluto, again, the co-ruler of the Timberwolves tonight. Pluto at 3 degrees and 41 seconds. So, between 7 and 3, that's 4 degrees, 4 points. 55 minus 41, that's 14. So I'm going to say OKC. I just think it's going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be similar to game 1, where it goes it's like 2 points. So I'm going to say OKC by 5 points. 4 to 5 points. I just got to write something in. And again, I'm still trying to, getting the winner or the loser, again, I say this every time, but getting the winner or the loser, that's one thing in itself. Using the chart, but then getting the points, man, that's a whole nother thing. But I'm trying to get in there, trying to figure out what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna say OKC by 5 points between Venus and Jupiter. 5 points. Let's write that in. And there's something in the back of my mind, and there has been lingering around all day. There's something just intuitively in the back of my mind that's the Timberwolves are somehow going to keep this thing going. So I was trying to look for that in the chart too, just because of that little spidey sense that I was getting. And I just can't ignore that either. And even when I type that OKC is to win tonight, there's part of me that's just that's wrong. But I try to just go with what I see in the chart. And granted, of course, I've been wrong the last couple of times here. But I just then have to go back to the grassroots, the bare bones, and look at it from there. But even when I was doing that, again, I just have all these extra nerd notes. I got my notepad and I broke down each team. Moon for blah, blah. We already went through it all. So it's you got to make a decision, but it's just I was looking what is the thing? And for the Timberwolves, what could be the ticket here for them. Like, what could it be here in the chart that really could be the ticket? And I was thinking that it could be the moon squaring Venus, or will be squaring Venus, but they're so far apart right now at the start of this game, and that communication is not going to happen during the game. So I kind of had to take that away. And then just with OKC, potentially again, if the game starts at 7:38 or later, they're already ruled by Venus tonight, which is the lesser benefic planet in astrology. Everybody loves Venus. That's why everybody loves Fridays. I mean, most people love Fridays. Let me say that, because Venus rules Fridays. Venus rules what we love, our money, our aesthetic, what we enjoy. Jupiter brings blessings, brings good fortune. It doesn't have any boundaries. Jupiter doesn't have any boundaries, okay? But it normally can bring, like, windfalls and good luck, and it can expand your mind. You can learn more. You can have, like, realizations like, ahas, it's the greater benefic planet. So with those two potentially, Jupiter also ruling OKC tonight, I can't look past that. Even though, again, this little, like, spidey sense here in the back of my mind that's like, the Timberwolves might be able to pull it out. Like, there is still something in the back of my mind that is saying that. There really is. And we shall see. And another thing, too, why I also think this might be the end of the road, it could be the end here for the series and for the Timberwolves, is that the degree that rules each team, there's 30 degrees in each sign, and being at 26 degrees, that's near the end. That's almost to 30. That's the series, it's been going on. Is it coming to a close, the curtain call? So all of these just little extra things that I was trying to look at, and, just extra. But yeah, we'll see what pans out. We'll see who the winner is. May the best team win. And, as a Timberwolves fan, even if I would be wrong, that would be like my third game wrong in a row, I think, if I do get tonight wrong. But even if I do get it wrong, I will be elated as a Timberwolves fan that they keep this series going. Yeah, and again, there's just still something in the back of my mind. Like, what is it? Maybe it's just my Timberwolves fandom coming in there, and we'll see. I will see. And I'm going to either do game 5, or wait, what game are we on right now? Game 6. I'll either be back for game 6 to do the next one and carry on, or I'll be back for a recap and then potentially maybe do like a WNBA game. Excuse me, I got to take a sip of this weird tasting water. Again, not sure if it's the water or the mug. Cheers, everybody. So I'll either be back for game number 6 to do a recap and game number 6, or I'll do, like a Lynx game or like Knicks Pacers, and then do a recap of this if the season does end tonight. But so I will find out, and I will circle back to this again, this like spidey sense that the Timberwolves are gonna get it tonight. So yeah, we'll see. What's gonna end up being right for me? The chart reading the astrology chart correctly and picking OKC to win, or being wrong and ignoring this like weird intuition spidey sense that I read the chart wrong, I missed something for the Wolves, and I also didn't listen to my intuition. So we'll see. But sometimes, again, the spidey sense could just be my Timberwolves fandom, just really wanting them to keep going and continue. But I'll find out in due time, okay? So anyway, anybody have any final thoughts before I sign off? What time is it? It's 7:21. It's almost game time. And if somehow this game starts before 7:38 Central Time, if somehow it does start before that, I do think that the Timberwolves have a little bit of a better chance. But again, I do think it's going to be a close one. And I do think that Rudy is going to have a better game. again, because the moon is in Cancer. His sun sign is in Cancer. So, like, the moon helping Rudy out here. He needs all the help he can get at this point. Okay, so we'll see. But I'm excited to watch it. And I mean, as an astrologer, of course, I hope that I am right with my prediction. Nobody wants to be wrong, of course. I hope that I read it right. I hope I didn't miss anything. I mean, there's always things that I miss, but hope I didn't miss anything ginormous like Monday night's game 4. But yeah, we'll see. And as a Timberwolves fan, hey, if I'm wrong, okay, that Spidey sense was telling you something, and the series continues. Then the season continues. So I'll be happy about that. But I'm excited to watch it. And yeah, I do think it's going to be a close one. I mean, Monday night, like, woo! That one was like, oh my, I mean, my heart was racing a little bit. It was very, very exciting. And then, yeah, kind of close. Okay, elbow, you can stay on the side of my desk. Thank you. But yeah, I hope tonight is just as good. And if it is the Timberwolves' last game, I mean, I think overall, I mean, they made it to almost the NBA Finals, like so close, yet so far away. But overall, obviously, it's a good season, a positive season. And yeah, that's what I got, people. That's what I got. So I appreciate everybody being here and hanging out as always. I always appreciate you guys stopping by and all your messages and your chats and liking and subscribing and all of that good stuff. And I will be back either for game 6. I think that's Friday. Otherwise, like I said, I'll try to do a recap, maybe Pacers their next game. That must be tomorrow night, or the next WNBA game. I will go over this either which way. But and then look out too for a stream to talk some Vikings now that things are kind of brewing there in the NFL. So that's to come. And I do plan on doing whatever teams make the NBA Finals. I do plan on doing the prediction for that series too for the NBA Finals. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But I hope everybody has a great rest of your Wednesday or whenever you happen to be watching this. And once again, I always appreciate you stopping by and you hanging out with me. And Timberwolves, let's go. All right. Even though I picked the astrology, you know, how I saw it, I picked against you here. But I will be howling and I will be cheering for the Wolves tonight. So anyway, I appreciate everybody. And until next time.